Ladies and gentlemen, it's all happening the way that I said it would, and it's even more amusing and comedic and enjoyable. This is not even, Clinton hasn't even formally announced, even though she will. She's announced in her own way many times, and I've chronicled all of this. It will be a rematch of Clinton versus Trump, and Clinton will lose again for the same reasons I wrote in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon, and she'll run again for the same reasons that I wrote in 2017. There's a playlist of over 50 segments on YouTube. Please look at that playlist below in the pinned comment. Everyone is talking about Clinton running. Today there was more information. Yeah, there was a Rasmussen poll that said they were both tied, Clinton and Trump. Why? Gee, that doesn't sound like somebody who's given up on the presidency. It doesn't sound like a candidate that is not going to be in our future, all of our futures. But, ladies and gentlemen, why do you think all of this nonsense is taking place? Because it's a political machine. Democratic Party is a political machine. It's not a political party, but this is really hilarious. So, my last segment is doing quite well, and that's the segment. That's the segment regarding. It's just so hilarious. It's the segment regarding just the most nonsensical thought process. Trump's going to just resign because his ego is too big. Do you understand? His ego's too big, so he's going to strike a deal with the Democratic Party. And so Democrats believe this. A lot of, there have been writers who've written about this. Trump's ego is so big that he's going to strike a deal with the Democratic Party before impeachment because he doesn't want impeachment on his resume. Because that would really, shatter his self-image because he's such a fragile human being, right? I explain why that's nonsense. Now, there's this interesting theory going around. It's so hilarious, and I have been told this by several intelligent people, where I don't even know if they're really serious or not, but then I find out that they are serious, and I'm like, okay. This is the other day. Will Trump ever leave the White House? New York Times. It's a loaded question with no obvious answer. But it's not just the New York Times. What if Trump refuses to leave the White House? Truthdig.com. Trump to be removed. Okay, MSN. What happens if Trump won't concede in 2020? Slate. So, what if Trump refuses? So there are all these, what would happen if Trump refused to leave after 2020? Independent. Why would he stay? Because he's been treated so wonderfully by Democrats and media? The corrupt intelligence officials, media, the Democratic Party, Hollywood, liberals everywhere, have had a temper tantrum of biblical proportions. Why would he stay? He was making more money, and he was doing just fine, and he'll go back into Hollywood and real estate after the election and make a lot more money with a lot less stress. So then what's this issue? President Trump, you can disagree with him, you can agree with him. He's doing this. His value system is one where he looks at the United States of America and says, look, we have to reverse course on a whole lot of nonsense. And he's doing so, and he's doing a very good job. That's why he's going to get reelected. And that's why he's going to defeat Clinton again. In addition to everything I've stated, in the 2017, I stated that she's going to run in the Huffington Post. The article is below in the pinned comment. I've done over 50 segments on this. I was the only person in all of media, in all of YouTube, to say that she's going to run. But I have to read this because they truly believe, listen to me, they truly believe. Do you understand? They truly believe that Trump will not leave office. They think that he's just going to stay, and they're petrified that he'll question the election results like Clinton has done for the past 3 years. Like Democrats, they're calling him an illegitimate president, while at the same time, the irony is lost upon these people. They're calling him illegitimate. They're calling him a president who cheated. They're saying that the 2016, another country stole the election from them. Even Jimmy Carter was like, oh, yeah, he was planted by the Russians. Okay? And then they're saying, well, you know what? It would be horrendous if he doesn't respect the decision of voters in 2020. It's like they haven't at all. But Here's the New York Times. This is really, really, really hilarious. And this is an interesting article. Since 2015, we've been worried about how much danger Donald Trump posed to democracy. Actually, he doesn't pose any danger to democracy. James Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was forced to resign in disgrace for cheating Bernie Sanders. How did that democratic process work? How is it working now for Andrew McCabe, who's going to get indicted for lying under oath numerous times? How's it working for Peter Strzok and Lisa Page? How's it working for James Comey and Clapper and Brennan? How did it work for the Mueller probe? They found absolutely nothing. They found absolutely nothing. He did not work with Russia to hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, while giving Clinton the popular vote, but somehow losing swing states because of Facebook ads that nobody saw, thus forcing Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign in disgrace. So the democracy part works best without people like Comey, where, if you or I or anyone else did what Clinton did with private servers and top secret intelligence on private servers, it would be instant incarceration, and then awaiting trial, not awaiting whether or not there's a formal indictment. But anyway. They are the ones who cheat. They're the ones who cover up crimes. They're the ones who engage in hyperbole. And they're the ones who don't accept election results. And then they're the ones pontificating about democracy. They're doing exactly, and Styx said this, and I love Styx. I watch him every day. I watch Styx X and Hammer every day. I watch Tim Pool every day. I watch them both almost every day. And I watch other people every day. Almost every day. And he said, he made the correlation between the Bush administration and today's Democratic Party. And it's true in many respects. The pontificating, the judgment, the condemnation, this is turned into a theocracy. The left has turned into a theocracy where they think they've replaced the deity with their viewpoint on morality. So they're willing to judge and condemn based on their pure and just pristine viewpoint of life, which miraculously always omits things like Bernie being cheated and Bill Kristol and Max Boot actively supporting Democrats over Trump, because his foreign policy, as we see today, is bringing Americans home. Bringing Americans home. That's one reason I'm voting for Trump in 2020. That also helps American democracy. But anyway, now with the impeachment inquiry moving forward, it's hilarious. They don't even have the courage, Democrats, to just impeach Trump. They're like, an inquiry, we have to go ahead and we have to pretend. Oh my goodness, it's an inquiry, but we're gonna eventually impeach Trump. So, it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable, the duplicity and the disingenuous nature of Democrats. But ladies and gentlemen, let's read this right here. Let's go ahead and read this. So, now with impeachment inquiry moving forward, a new question is rapidly gaining relevance. This is just the other day. How and when will President Trump leave the White House? Well, he'll leave after his second term. Republicans are, Trump is going to win again. Trump is going to win again. Okay? So, that's the thing. Trump is going to defeat Clinton again. And when he defeats Clinton again, it's like they're not going to know what to do. They're not going to know what to do. They're not going to know what to do, and who knows how they're going to react. It could be a meltdown surpassing what we've seen the past 3 years, an epic temper tantrum that makes the last 3 years look like, happiness in comparison. Who knows? But when I asked a professor of political science at Notre Dame about political developments in the near future, his response surprised me. Okay, so then, before you decide that this is paranoia, at least we can acknowledge that there's a possibility of this being that. Let me point out, So, both before Trump was elected in 2016 and during his term, he has made frequent references to my Second Amendment friends, and increasingly the patriots who constitute the military. So what? I think military and active duty soldiers and veterans vote Trump 2-1. So the country is armed. So what is it? What are they saying now? Oh, now now they're saying people who okay. Trump is, so now they're, here, of course we go. Now they say that, well, all the alleged value system of Republicans, they're losing political influence. Certain demographics within the Republican Party are losing political influence, and therefore they're not going to just allow Trump to lose without some kind of pushback. And oh my God, this is just happening right in front of us. It's the Democratic Party who did not respect not only their own primary, they didn't respect the election. And then President Trump and CNN stated it's impossible to have an election rigged because it's too decentralized. It was like 10 minutes of that. President Trump on CNN spent like 10 minutes. And then Clinton, you can hear Hillary Clinton, who's running again and who will lose again, but you can hear Clinton say the same thing on during the debate. How Trump must respect the election results. Trump won't commit to accepting election results. This was 2 years ago. And then there was another one. This was a theme throughout. Will you accept the outcome of the election? Clinton and Trump answer. So it was two different debates. And it was the same thing, although with Clinton, listen to what she says. So this is hilarious too because, listen to this. The tables always turn, and Democrats forget that they're the ones who first state, you better accept the election results, and when they lose, they don't accept the election results. Then when they're running again, they say, you better accept the election results, and guess what? They won't accept the election results when she loses again, but let's listen.
That I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well, okay? Chris, let me respond to that because that's horrifying. Every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him.
That's what you've claimed for 3 years. You blamed the Bernie bros. You blamed the media. You blamed Comey. You blamed Russia. You blamed people not voting for you because you're a woman. You blamed everything. This is unbelievable, and you're running again. Mazal tov. You're running again, thank God. Yes. This will vindicate everything I have ever said about the Democratic Party. And also, nobody was saying that she's going to run again, and I saw right through it, ladies and gentlemen. But let's continue.
The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged.
The FBI did not it's not for the FBI to conclude there was no case. The FBI has to give the evidence to the Justice Department. They were not told how you transferred top secret and special access program intelligence onto servers outside of the United States government. We do not know how Clinton was able to obtain, how Madam Cyberhack was able to transfer or migrate or forward top secret special access program intelligence. We don't know how people in other agencies were able to email Clinton classified data. You cannot email classified data outside of the United States government. You can't email a classified document from within the U.S. government to like Apple or Microsoft or Clinton's servers. You can't do that. Now there's a renewed Clinton email probe now with William Barr and John Durham. And they're finding out how 130 people, because so those 130 people have to get lawyers, and they've committed crimes, potentially. Like James Comey said, potentially. They sent Clinton emails, which is essentially sending emails outside of the United States government that were classified, because the U.S. government retroactively classified those emails, which happened with Jeffrey Sterling, who should never have ever been incarcerated because he's an honorable man and a true, whistleblower, not what we hear today with basically political operatives and intelligence community operatives. But the Clinton email debacle was the biggest cybersecurity fiasco of all time. She had, I write about this in But Her Top Secret emails, but her deleted emails, and debunking the Trump-Russia myth. In 2017, again, I made all of these calls in 2017. When people say, oh, well, you said she was going to get indicted. James Comey literally made the case and then said no reasonable prosecutor. Well, that's a judge. That's an opinion of his. Matthew Whitaker, Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tenzing, Tom Fitton, a lot of reasonable prosecutors would have prosecuted. In fact, people have gone to prison simply for a picture or a couple classified documents, not where they're supposed to be. So, this is probably the biggest fiasco, political fiasco in America, one of the biggest in American history. The Clinton email investigation, the Clinton email ongoing saga is a lot bigger than Watergate, a lot bigger, because we're talking about the entire planet. Defense Secretary Gates, Michael Hayden, former Intel chief, they all stated that her server was almost certainly hacked, and we know it was hacked. We know it was infiltrated. Because if Russia hacked the DNC, why on earth would they not have hacked and infiltrated Clinton's server? Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. It's like ridiculous. But let's continue.
He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him.
Well, no, the Democratic primary was rigged against Bernie Sanders. We know that because Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign, and even the wonderful Elizabeth Warren stated, and other people stated, Bernie got a raw deal.
Then Trump University gets sued for fraud and racketeering. He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks, and it's
Wait, no, it's how you think. It's how Clinton thinks, because she was on The View, and she's been on every show talking about how it's everyone's fault that Madam Cyberhack did not win. It's everyone's fault but her own. She's going to run again. People are going to be forced to vote again for Clinton, which is going to be hilarious and very rewarding. And if there's anyone on the left who said vote for Clinton in 2016 who isn't actively, advocating her again in 2020, big issue. Because when I was going out on a limb, like I usually do, in 2016 and 2015, in the Hill, the Huffington Post, and Salon, saying, Clinton's not going to win, she's a horrendous candidate. And then I got heat, and I got hit pieces, and I got all the negative nonsense, which is like irrelevant now because it only made me stronger. Those were the same people who try to mock and denigrate me. Now, they're the ones who better be very enthusiastic, because they're going to eventually vote for Clinton anyway, but they'll probably pretend to say, oh my God, here we go again. I'm thinking about it. And it's not going to be really like a thought process. It'll be like, well, how do I save face and vote for Clinton again after pretending that I was fighting the system for 3 years? And there's like a lot of people on the left who have that mentality, like, oh yeah, we don't like CNN and MSNBC and da-da-da-da. It's like, okay, but you voted for Clinton, you pushed the Trump-Russia myth. Then you're going to vote for Clinton again and lose again. And then so now what is your how are you true to your alleged value system then? And you know who I'm talking about. There's a whole bunch of people on the left There's a whole bunch of liberals who said vote for Clinton in 2016 and who will be horrified, petrified, and embarrassed and mortified that she's running again, and they're going to vote again and lose again. And all the while, you and I'm not going to call them out. I'm just going to watch and enjoy the show. Oh, I'm below the radar now. I'm just, you know what? Anyone can say whatever they like about me. It's all good. Because everything that I've been saying is happening. And Clinton, if she were anyone else, and if Comey didn't cover up Clinton's crimes, would have been indicted. And by the way, will eventually get indicted. Eventually, after she loses the election, she'll run again in 2024, even with indictments or ongoing court issues. Because Clinton will never stop running. As long as the Democratic Party is a political machine run by both Bill and Hillary, that Oval Office is Clinton's. In the mind of Madam Cyberhack, there's only one person who should be there, and that's her. And it doesn't matter. But I mean, you're talking about somebody who's committed crimes. You're talking about somebody who cheated a political candidate, a political party. The DNC cheated Bernie Sanders, and then Bernie Sanders did nothing to ensure that Democrats change. He just, like a person who gives an alcoholic 20 bottles of vodka or tequila, Bernie was just, the Russians, they really hurt Hillary. It's like, no, they didn't. Oh, and by the way, Russia did not interfere in the election. Not one vote was altered. Not one vote was altered from Facebook ads. If people change their vote because of the DNC emails, then that proves that Clinton didn't win fair and square. So there you go. That proves that Bernie was cheated. But anyway, let's continue. Because Trump's not going to leave office, you know. Political scientist, And they're like, well, in a YouGov poll, 89% of those who strongly approve of the job Trump is doing say that intelligence officials tried to oust the president. Yeah, that's true. They did. Why would anyone assume that a Steele dossier and gossip from people tied to Clinton was warranted an investigation to Trump? That is absurd. They found nothing. And all of these corrupt intelligence officials are now on CNN. They're contributors to CNN. And they are always published in the Washington Post and New York Times. And literally, Peter Strzok said, we will stop Trump. And they utilized the dossier that was purchased by Clinton. And they allowed CrowdStrike, a third-party tech firm outsourced by Democrats, which is a massive conflict of interest. It's an overt conflict of interest. So these are the same people who say, Trump is a threat to our democracy. It's like, no, our democracy is running very well because Trump is president. If you had corrupt intel officials, media, Democrats who cheated their own candidates, and Clinton won in 2016, we'd have a problem with American democracy. Because all the people and businesses and corporations and wealthy individuals and interests that didn't want Trump, and politically connected people who didn't want Trump, would have won, would have been able to subvert the will of the American people. But President Trump is president now, so democracy is working just fine. Some things he's doing, the courts strike down. Some things he's doing, the courts say they're constitutional. But we have a system of checks and balances, even though, and part of that system has never been the intelligence community, by the way. But Democrats, by any means possible, will try to insult, disparage, demean President Trump. That's it. That's all they want to do. And that will be their undoing. The fact that they're going to go back to Clinton again proves everything I've ever said. They will lose again. But you're already seeing Rasmussen. They're tied right now. In the latest poll, they're tied, Clinton and Trump. So let's finish this up.
Funny, but it's also really troubling.
It's really troubling when President. It's really troubling when President Trump wouldn't accept the election. But it's okay. It's okay when Clinton didn't accept it, right? Let's just listen to this now. Yet another debate.
I support our democracy. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But I certainly will support the outcome of this election.
That never happened. Clinton has never supported the outcome of the election. The Democrats have never, media has never, Hollywood has never. They're calling him her President Hillary Clinton. They're calling Trump an illegitimate president. They framed and set up a myth, a hoax based on a dossier purchased by Clinton. And that is a fact. There's no reason. These people are intelligent people and they know what's going on. They're not like, well, we had to pursue. Where's the Clinton dossier? Where's the dossier on Bill and Hillary that FBI agents can just utilize to start their own investigations? Give me your thoughts below. That's yet another segment where, let's just continue real quick.
And I know Donald's trying very hard to plant doubts about it, but I hope the people out there understand this election's really up to you. It's not about us.
It's up to you. Yeah, it's up to us. And guess what happened? Clinton lost. Yeah. Clinton's going to lose again. Okay? But the epic meltdown from Democrats and media, and that's why I say do not, I repeat, do not for the next year speak to any debate, argue with any person in your family or friend that has derangement issues with Trump, because it's just not worth it. Let them go through the process of voting for Clinton again and losing again and realizing that H.A. Goodman and you have been right all along. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. Thank you.